Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Paul here, and today we have a coffee request. This one is from Travis, and Travis is requesting this video. Travis says, "Hey, Paul, this comes from my favorite books, some of the greatest sections. Hope you can watch when you can." Thank you so much, Travis. We're live here on Twitch as well. Travis is here with us, so I hope you enjoy this reaction. And as I was saying before we started recording here on the live stream, this is something that feels like I always wanted to do, like reading poetry or reading books. And I feel like that's what he's going to do. This is a channel called Naturally RP Voiceover. Cosmere, the best speeches. Let's check this out. Dalinar.
You cannot have my pain.
Oh, he's acting it out. I thought he was just reading it.
Pain. I killed those children.
Wow.
You cannot have my pain!
Oh my gosh.
I burnt those children. I did kill the people of Rathalis. You might have been there. But I made the choice. I decided. I killed them.
This dude is very good at
It hurt
acting.
so much, but I did it.
Hi, Spluey.
That you cannot have her. You cannot take her from me again. If I pretend I didn't do those things, it means that I can't have grown to become someone else. Or journey before destination.
Dang, voice
It
acting.
cannot be a journey if it doesn't have a beginning.
Voice acting is a true
I'll
talent.
take responsibility for what I have done. If I must fall, I will rise each time and be a better man.
Dang, I like the deep, like vocal fry. At the end of his voice there. It's really nice.
All great art is hated. It is obscenely difficult,
Oh,
if
so
not
nice.
impossible, to make something.
Let me say, this is one thing I really loved. I thought he was going to read from a book, like read poetry, but no, actually, he's actually doing voiceover. And that's something I really wanted to do growing up. I even did, I think, a course for voiceover acting, but I never actually went down that path. But it's something I like to do. I like playing with the voice.
It is obscenely difficult, if not impossible, to make something that nobody hates. Conversely, it is incredibly easy, if not expected, to make something that nobody loves. This makes sense if you think about it. Art is about emotion, examination, and going places people have never gone before to discover and investigate new things. The only way to create something that nobody hates is to ensure that it can't be loved either.
Is he a famous
Remove
voice
a
actor?
slice from a soup, and you'll just end up with water. Human taste is as varied as human fingerprints. Nobody will like everything. Everybody dislikes something. Someone loves that thing you hate, but at least being hated is better than nothing. To risk metaphor, a grand painting is often about contrast. Brightest brights, darkest darks, not grey marsh. That a thing is hated is not proof that it is great art, but the lack of hatred is certainly proof that it is not. So, when I say that you are
Hey,
the
he should be famous.
embodiment of repulsiveness, I'm merely looking to improve my art. Oh, you look so ugly. It seems that someone tried and failed to get the warts off your face through aggressive application of sandpaper.
Wow.
You're less of a human being and more of a lump of dung with aspirations.
He does have
If
one
someone
there,
took
though.
a stick and beat you repeatedly, it could only serve to improve your features. Your face defies description, but only because it nauseated all the poets. You're what parents used to frighten
my
children
gosh.
into obedience. I tell you to put a sack over your head, but, oh, alas, poor sack. Theologians use you as proof that God exists because such hideousness can only be intentional.
Gosh, that is such an insult. Dang. Did you hear that insult? I'm not familiar with the work of Brandon Sanderson, but you guys seem to know him. And I know. I didn't grow up
There are two
reading
kinds
books,
of
so
important men.
I know. I need to catch up on my literature.
There are two kinds of important men, Shallan. There are those who, when the boulder of time rolls toward them, stand up in front of it and hold out their hands. All their lives they've been told how great they are. They assume the word itself will bend to their whims as their nurse did when fetching them a fresh cup of milk. Those men end up squished. Other men stand to the side when the boulder of time passes, but are quick to say, "See what I did? I made the boulder roll there. Don't make me do it again." These men
I love his
end up
accent.
getting everyone else squished. Well, is there not a third type of person? Yes, there is.
I love
But they,
Thank you, Travis,
they
for the
are so rare.
to finish off. Whoa, thank you so much. Let's go.
These know they can't stop the boulder, so they walk beside it, study it, and bide their time. And then they shove it ever so slightly to create a deviation in its path. Well, these are the men who actually change the world. And they terrify me. For men never see as far as they think they do.
That is poetry right there. Men don't see as far as they think they do. That really that really takes me to a chess mentality. The greatest talent.
What is it men value most in others? Well, what do you think? If a man or a woman were to have a talent, which would be the most revered, best regarded, considered the most worth?
Loyalty?
I once asked this question of some very wise scholars. What do men consider the most valuable of talents? One mentioned artistic ability, as you so keenly guessed. Another chose great intellect. And the final chose the talent to invent the ability to design and create great devices.
Invention.
Aesthetic genius. Invention, acumen, creativity, noble ideals indeed. Most men would pick one of those if given the choice and name them the greatest of talents. What beautiful liars we are. You think I'm a cynic? You think I'm going to tell you men claim to have these ideals but secretly prefer base talents, the ability to gain coin or to charm women? Well, I am a cynic, but in this case, I actually think those scholars were honest. Well, their answers speak for the souls of men. In our hearts, we want to believe in and would choose great accomplishment and virtue. That's why our lives, particularly to ourselves, are so beautiful. I didn't ask what was the most valuable. I asked what men value most. The difference between those two questions is both tiny and as vast as the world itself all at once. In this, as in all things, our actions give us away.
So let me get this
If an
straight.
artist creates a work of powerful beauty using new and innovative techniques, she'll be lauded as a master and will launch a new movement in aesthetics. Yet, what if another, working independently with the exact level of skill, were to make the same accomplishments the very next month? Would she find similar acclaim? No. She'd be called derivative. Her intellect If a great thinker develops a new theory of mathematics, science, or philosophy, we will name him wise. We will sit at his feet and learn, and will record his name in history for thousands upon thousands to revere. But what if another man determines the same theory on his own, then delays in publishing his results by a mere week? Will he be remembered for his greatness?
First to market.
He will not.
You have to be first to market.
Invention. A woman builds a new design of great worth, some feat of engineering, she will be known as an innovator. But if someone with the same talent creates the same design a year later, not realizing it has already been crafted, will she be rewarded for her creativity?
No, copycat.
No. She'll be called a copier, a forger. And so in the end, what must we determine? Is it the intellect of a genius that we revere? If it were their artistry, the beauty of their mind, would we not laud it regardless of whether we'd seen their product before?
That is food for thought.
Don't. Given two works of artistic majesty otherwise weighted equally, we'll give greater acclaim to the one who did it first. It doesn't matter what you create. It matters what you create before anyone else. So it's not the beauty itself we admire. It's not the force of intellect, it's not invention, aesthetics, or capacity itself. The greatest talent that we think a man can have, it seems to me, that it must be nothing more than novelty.
Wow. I agree in parts, but I also disagree in parts. Oh, made with music from Artlist. Okay. Copyright incoming. Let me tell you one thing why I agree and I disagree. Because there are inventions that people make it first, but if they don't market it enough, or if it's not on the right in the right time, it can fall flat. Right? Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Elon Musk is developing a self-landing rocket. This is nothing new, right? This has been done before, at least from what I've heard. But it's the way he is trying to implement it. So sometimes being first is good, but doing it better is also great. Like people who invented the smartphone. After the smartphone, other companies came and did it as well. Or let's say Chat GPT, for example, it's falling behind now. Obviously, it will be known for being the first of its model, but people who improve on it or who market something better, like for example, energy drinks. I'm sure there were energy drinks before Red Bull. I'm sure there were soda drinks before Coca-Cola, but I feel like first to market, that's what really counts. The first to claim that this is their invention. Marketing is king. I think that's the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's why I agree, but I agree in parts because I feel like if somebody invents something and they don't market it, then we'll never know they did it. The same thing happens when people sample music. Some people get music that is unknown and they sample it and they put it out there and they blow up with that song and then they get sued for copyright infringement and copying samples. But because they did a good job at marketing it, people think it's their invention, you know. That point is made. Interesting. Listen, I was going to ask, let me get this straight. This is from a book, but I hear him making most of it as a monologue. How is it written in a way that they can pause for monologue, but at the same time, they can continue the storyline? Or is it just a book of poems? Is it a book of poetry, or is there a linear and continuous story? How does it work? Do they pause for a monologue? How does it work? Because the poetry here is beautiful, but I'm trying to think how they format the book so it can be a story? Because most of it is monologues.
The most important words a man can say are, I will do better. These are not the most important words any man can say. I am a man, and they are what I needed to say. The ancient code of the Knights Radiant says, journey before destination. Some may call it a simple platitude, but it is far more. A journey will have pain and failure. It is not only the steps forward that we must accept, it is the stumbles, the trials, the knowledge that we will fail, that we will hurt those around us. But if we stop, if we accept the person we are when we fall, the journey ends. That failure becomes our destination. To love the journey is to accept no such end. I have found, through painful experience, that the most important step a person can take is always the next one. I'm certain some will feel threatened by this record. Some may feel liberated. Most will simply feel that it should not exist. Well, I needed to write it anyway. I know that many women who read this will see it only as further proof that I am the godless heretic everyone claims. I can point to the moment when I decided for certain this record had to be written. I hung between realms, seeing into Shadesmar, the realm of the Spren and beyond. I thought that I was surely dead. Certainly, some who saw further than I did thought I had fallen. I did not die. I experienced something worse. That moment notwithstanding,
Worse
I can
than
honestly
death?
say this book has been brewing in me since my youth. The sum of my experiences has pointed at this moment, this decision. And perhaps my heresy stretches back to those days in my childhood where the ideas began. I ask not that you forgive me, nor that you even understand.
This guy's so convincing,
that you
though.
read or listen to these words, to this record. I hold nothing back.
Wow.
I will try not to shy away from difficult topics or paint myself in a dishonestly heroic light. I will express only direct, even brutal truth. You must know what I have done. What those actions cost me.
I want to read his book now.
For in this comes the lesson. It is not a lesson that I claim to be able to teach. Experience herself is the great teacher, and you must seek her directly. Well, you cannot have a spice prescribed to you, but you must taste it for yourself. However, with a dangerous spice, you can be warned to taste it lightly. I would that your lesson may not be as painful as my own.
Dang, this is so...
I am no storyteller to entertain you with whimsical yarns. I am no philosopher to intrigue you with piercing questions. I am no poet to delight you with clever allusions.
Could have fooled me.
I have no doubt that you are smarter than I am. I can only relate what happened, what I have done, and then let you draw conclusions. I will confess my murders before you, most painfully. I have killed someone who loved me dearly. I will confess my heresy. I do not back down from the things I have said, regardless of what the Ardents demand. Finally, I will confess my humanity. I have been named a monster, and I do not deny those claims. I am the monster that I fear we all can become.
This is so well written.
So sit back, read or listen to someone who has passed between realms. Listen to the words of a fool. If they cannot make you less foolish, at least let them give you hope.
Gosh, this is really well performed.
Of all people have changed.
Dude, Dalinar is the king of gaslighting. Dude, come on. Wait, what happened to my... Why am I so white? I so pale. I so pale. Dude, Dalinar is the king of gaslighting, man. I don't know if I would believe him because he was so convincing that he has changed. I would still say guilty, though. Guilty of murder. It's an amazing speech, though.
Close your eyes. What do you see?
Light.
In the driest part of the brightest day, the man set off from the eastern sea. And where he...
Is it still coming out on Apple TV? We need to watch it. Wow, okay. Hey, I could add it to the wish list if you guys want me to. We have a wish list here for movies, series, shows. As you saw this morning, I reacted to a movie, which I have been doing every morning. A different movie, different show, anime, K-drama. We could add that. That would be cool as well, because this seems really intriguing. But they need to get an actor that is as passionate as he is. Or maybe, you know, why not him?
He went, or why he ran, set off from the eastern sea. And where he went, or why he ran, the answer comes for you from me. He ran from the storm. The man was Fleet, whose name you know. He's spoken of in song and lore. The fastest man e'er known to live, the surest feet e'er known to run. In time long past, in times I've known, he raced the Herald Canarak. He won that race as he did each one, but now the time for defeat had come. For Fleet so sure, and Fleet so quick to all who heard, he yelled his goal to beat the wind and race a storm. A claim so brash, a claim too bold to race the wind? It can't be done. Undaunted, Fleet was set to run. So to the east where went our Fleet. Upon the shore his mark was set. The storm grew strong, the storm grew wild. Who was this man so set to dash? No man should tempt the god of storms. No fool has ever been so rash. With a clap of thunder, the race begins. O'er rock and grass our Fleet did run. He leaped the stones and dodged the trees, his feet a blur, his soul a sun. The storm, so grand, it raged and spun, but away from it our Fleet did run. The lead was his, the wind behind. Did man now prove that storms could lose? Through land he ran, so quick and sure, and Alethkar he left behind. But now the test he saw ahead. For mountains he would have to climb. The storm surged.
This one is
on,
rhyming more than the
released a
previous
howl.
ones.
It saw its chance might now approach. To the highest mounts and the coldest peaks, our hero Fleet did make his way. The slopes were steep and paths unsure. Would he maintain his mighty lead?
He's got a great voice, and the accent helps a
The
lot.
storm grew close till it chewed his heels. Upon his neck, Fleet felt its chill. Its breadth of ice was all around, a mouth of night and wings of frost. Its voice was of the breaking rocks, its song was of the crashing rain. Then the tip he reached, the point he found. Fleet climbed no more. He crossed the peak, and down the side his speed returned. Outside the storm, Fleet found the sun. Azir's plains were now his path. He sprinted west, more
This is a
broad
poem.
his stride. Yet soon the race its tool did claim. His feet like bricks, his legs like cloth. In gasps our runner drew his breath. The end approached, the storm outdone, but slowly did our hero run. A final challenge did raise its head, a final shadow to his dread. The land did rise up once again, the mystic mountains guarding Shin. To leave the storming winds behind, our fleet again began to climb. The storms again came to his back. The winds again did spin around. Time was short, the ending near, as through the mountains our fleet did dash. It was right upon him. Even going down the other side of the mountains, he was unable to stay very far ahead. He crossed the peaks, but lost his lead. The last paths lay before his feet, but strength he'd spent and might he'd lost. Each step was toil, each breath a pain, a sunken land crossed with grief. The grass so dead it did not move, but here the storm, it too did wilt. With thunder lost and lightning spent, the drops slipped down, now weak as wet, for Shin is not a place for them. Ahead the sea, the race's end. Fleet stayed ahead, his muscles raw, eyes barely saw, legs barely walked, but on he went, to destiny. The end, you know. The end will live. A shock for men, to me he'll give. He died. Well, I can work with that. Upon that land of dirt and soil, our hero fell and did not stir. His body spent, his strength undone, Fleet the hero was no more. The storm approached and found him there. It still and stopped upon its course. The rains they fell, the winds they blew, but forward they could not progress. For glory lit and light alive, for goals unreached and aims to strive, all men must try, the winds did see. It is the test, it is the dream. So in that land of dirt and soil, our hero stopped the storm itself. And while the rain came down like tears, our fleet refused to end his race. His body dead, but not his will. Within those winds, his soul did rise. It flew upon the day's last song to win the race and claim the dawn. Past the sea and past the waves, our fleet no longer lost his breath. Forever strong, forever fast, forever free to race the wind.
Dang. That was quite deep right there. I was just trying to, like, I didn't have any commentary there. I was just like, one thing I like as a teacher is the use of the new vocabulary. Like, dang, it's so intriguing, and it's nice how they make the use of language here as well. The finality of it all. Indeed, yeah, we are all finite. It's interesting how they put that into words. Like, there are some forms of poetry. Some of them rhyme, some of them don't. Which this one, sometimes it rhymed, sometimes it didn't. But it's very well written, and like I keep wondering, how do they come up with these things? Like, it's more of a philosophy thing, isn't it? It's not death, it's just a new race. Indeed. Against the wind, or towards the wind. The dog and the dragon.
There is an inn that you cannot find on your own. You must stumble across it on a misty street, late at night, lost and uncertain in a strange city.
This one is the best one?
The door has a wheel on it, but the sign bears no name. If you find the place and wander inside, you'll meet a young man behind the bar. Well, he has no name. He cannot tell it to you. Should he want to, it's been taken from him. But he'll know you as he knows everyone who enters the inn.
His name was taken
listen
from
to
him?
everything you want to tell him, and you will want to talk to him. And if you ask him for a story, he'll share one, like he shared with me. I will now share it with you. The story is a meaningless one. You must not search for a moral. It isn't that kind of story, you see. It's the other kind of story. This story is called The Dog and the Dragon. The dragon was a brilliant pearlescent color, with silver running along the contours of its body. One day, the dog saw this dragon flying overhead. The dog marveled, as one might expect. He had never seen anything so majestic or grand. The dragon soared in the sky, shimmering with iridescent colors in the sunlight. When it curved around and passed above the dog, it called out a mighty challenge, demanding in the human tongue that all alike acknowledge its beauty. The dog watched this from atop of a hill. Now, he wasn't particularly large, even for a dog.
He does it in one take,
brown
too.
Spots and blobby ears, not of any specific breed or lineage, and small enough that the other dogs often mocked him. It was a common variety of a common species of a common animal that most people would rightfully ignore. But when this dog stared at the dragon and heard the mighty boast, he came to a realization. Today, he had encountered something he'd always wished for but never known. Today, he'd seen perfection, and it had been presented with a goal. From today, nothing else mattered. He was going to become a dragon.
Wow.
The dog sat upon that hilltop through an entire night and day, staring, thinking.
How?
Dreaming. Finally, he returned to the farm where he had lived among others of his kind. These farm dogs all had jobs, chasing livestock or guarding the perimeter, but he, as the smallest, was seldom given any duty. Perhaps to another this would be liberating. To him, it had always been humiliating. As any problem to overcome is merely a set of smaller problems to overcome in a sequence, he divided his goal of becoming a dragon into 3 steps. First, he would find a way to have colorful scales like the dragon. Second, he would learn to speak the language of men like the dragon. Third, he would learn to fly like the dragon. The dog chose the scales first, as it seemed the easiest, and he wanted to begin his transformation with an early victory. He knew the farmer owned many seeds in a variety of colors, and they were the shape of little scales. Because he was not a thief, the dog did not take these, but he asked the other animals where the farmer obtained new ones. It turned out the farmer could make seeds by planting them in the ground, waiting for the plants to grow, then taking more seeds from the stalks. Knowing this, that dog borrowed some seeds and did the same, accompanying the farmer's eldest son on his daily work. As the youth worked, the dog moved alongside him, digging holes for seeds with his paws and planting them carefully with his mouth.
That's such a cute
It was
dog, I
amusing
can imagine.
watching the dog work. The farmer's eldest son found the dog's actions quite amusing.
A dog with ambition.
As the dog went out each day, gripping a watering can in his teeth, the little dog watered each seed just as the farmer did. He learned to weed and fertilize, and eventually the dog was rewarded with his own small crop of colorful seeds. After replacing what he borrowed from the farmer, the dog got himself wet and rolled in the seeds, sticking them all over his body. He then presented himself to the other dogs.
Oh no.
"Do you admire my wonderful new scales?" he asked his fellow animals.
I don't want the dog
Do I
to
not
try to
look
flight.
Like a
Try to
dragon?
fly.
They, in turn, laughed at him. "Those are not scales," they said. "You look stupid and silly. Go back to being a dog." The dog slunk away, feeling foolish and hurt. He had
Poor
failed
dog.
at his first task to have scales like a dragon. The dog, however, was not daunted. Surely, if he could speak with the grand voice of a dragon, they would all see. And so the dog spent his free time watching the children of the farmer. There were 3. The eldest son, who helped in the fields, the middle daughter, who helped with the animals, and the toddler, who was too young to help but was learning to speak. They were all working in the yard. The farmer's wife, who was taller than the farmer, a youth, lanky and assiduous, a daughter who would someday share her mother's height, a baby who toddled around the yard, tended by them all as they did their chores. Anyway, the dog figured that the best way to learn the language of men was to study their youngest child.
This
So
makes
the
a
dog
great
played
animation.
with the baby, stayed with him and listened as he began to form words. The dog played with the daughter to help her with yard work. He soon found that he could understand her if he tried hard, but he couldn't form words. He tried so hard to speak as they did, but his mouth could not make that kind of speech. His tongue did not work like a human tongue. Eventually, while watching the tall and serious daughter, he noticed she could make the words of humans. The dog was overjoyed by this. It was a way to speak without having a human tongue. The dog joined her at the table where she studied, inspecting the letters as she made them. He failed many times, but eventually learned to scratch the letters in the dirt himself.
Wow, interesting.
The farmer and his family thought this was an amazing
That
trick. The dog was sure he
interesting.
had found a way to prove he was becoming a dragon. He returned to the other dogs in the field and showed them his writing ability by writing their names in the dirt. They, however, could not read the words.
And they laughed at
When
him.
the dog explained what writing was, they laughed. "This is not the loud and majestic voice of a dragon," the dog said. "This is speaking so quietly, nobody can hear it. You look silly and stupid. Go back to being a dog." They left the dog to stare at his writing.
Let me just pause for a second here. The dog is learning so many different skills and it's being laughed at because the other dogs don't understand. I mean, imagine a dog that can actually grow seeds, a dog that can write. It's interesting.
As rain began to fall, washing the words away, he realized they
There
were
is
correct.
moral to the
He
story.
had failed to speak with the proud and powerful voice of the dragon. But there was still hope. If the dog could just fly.
Oh
If he could
no.
achieve this feat, the dogs would have to acknowledge his transformation. This task seemed even harder than the previous two. However, the dog had seen a curious device in the barn. The farmer would tie bales of hay with the rope, then raise or lower them using a pulley in the rafters. Well, this was essentially flying, was it not? The bales of hay soared in the air, and so the dog practiced pulling on the rope himself and learned the mechanics of the device. He found that the pulley could be balanced with the weight on the other side, which made the bales of hay lower slowly and safely. The dog
Such
took
a
his leash
smart
and tied it
dog.
around him to make a harness, like the ones they wrapped up the hay. Then he tied a sack slightly lighter than he was to the rope, creating a weight to balance him. After using his mouth to tie the rope to his harness, he climbed to the top of the barn's loft and called for the other dogs to come in. When they arrived, he leapt gracefully off the loft. It worked. The dog lowered down slowly, striking a magnificent pose in the air. He was flying. He soared like the dragon had. He felt the air around him and knew the sensation of being up high with everything below him. When he landed, he felt so proud and so free.
Oh man.
The other dogs laughed, the loudest they had ever laughed. "That is not flying like a dragon," they said. "You fell slowly. You look so stupid and silly. Go back to being a dog." This, at long last, crushed the dog's hopes.
I feel very
realized the
sorry for that
truth.
dog.
A dog like him simply could not become a dragon. He was too small, too quiet, too silly. What was that? The dog looked up, confused. He heard noises, sudden shouting, yells, a panic. The dog raced out of the barn to find the farmer and his family huddled around the small farmyard well, which was barely wide enough for the bucket. The dog put his paws up to the edge of the well and looked down far below into the deep darkness of the hole. He heard crying and splashing. A pitiful gurgling cry was barely audible over the splashing. The littlest child of the farmer and his wife had fallen into the well and was drowning. The family screamed and wept. There was nothing to be done. Or was there? In a flash,
There was.
the dog knew what to do. He bit the bucket off the well's rope, then had the eldest son tie the rope to his harness. He wrote, "Lower me," in the dirt, and then hopped onto the rim of the well. Finally, he threw himself into the well as the farmer grabbed the crank. Lowered down on this rope, the dog flew into the darkness. He found the baby all the way underwater, but shoved his snout in and took hold of the baby's clothing with his teeth.
Oh my
A short
gosh.
time later,
W
when the
dog.
family pulled him back up, the dog appeared holding the littlest child, wet, crying, but very much alive. That night, the family set a place for the little dog at their table and gave him a sweater to keep him warm.
It's gonna
His
make me
name written
cry.
across the front with letters he could read. They served a feast with the food the dog had helped grow. They gave him some of the cake, celebrating the birthday of the child whose life he had saved. That night, it rained on the other dogs who slept outside in the cold barn, which leaked.
Wow.
But the little dog snuggled into a warm bed beside the fire, hugged by the farmer's children, his belly full.
Such a great story.
And as he did, the dog sadly thought to himself, I could not become a dragon. I am an utter and complete failure.
Don't
The
get
end.
that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Cut the music. You're telling it wrong. That can't be the end. Remember, there is no moral to the story. I forgot to make you promise to not look out for morals. But the dog was amazing. He was absolutely not a failure. He does seem a bit defeatist, doesn't he? He put all those pressures on himself, though, to be like a dragon. But it doesn't matter that he never became a dragon. Everything he learned and did was incredible. You know, you are
Is
a
this
hero
part of
too,
it still?
for all the things that you do in your life. Even if they might seem mundane, they
Dang,
make
this
an
is all from the
impact
book.
on all the people around them. Perhaps I'm always right. Now, for the real ending.
Even cut the music?
That night, the little dog snuggled into a warm bed beside the fire, hugged by the farmer's children, his belly full. And as he did, the dog thought to himself, I doubt any dragon ever had it so good. Anyway, the end.
You know, this is very interesting because sometimes we're so blinded by our goals that we don't see our small achievements. We don't see our growth. We only try to see the end game. And that really kills us slowly because we could have been doing so much more, but we're focused on one small goal that at the end of the day it's meaningless. It's such a great story. There are no morals to that story, but if we are looking for one, it feels like sometimes we put so many limits to ourselves and we don't see that we could be doing something else because we set that goal. We got to go to that specific route through that specific journey without even realizing that we have grown so much, because even in failure we learn so many different lessons that we can be teaching other people. It's just a great story, really is.
This is our enemy. There is no quarter here, no walking away. This is no simple job to be thrown aside when we encounter a few unexpected twists. Look at them. I know you question me. You think I've been too hard on the nobility, the thing that I relish killing them too much. But can you honestly see those men
Killing them
laughing
too
and
much?
tell me that they don't deserve to die by my blade? I can only bring them justice. Breeze, you asked me about the ATM. I'll be honest, it was never my main goal. I gathered this crew because I wanted to change things. We'll grab the ATM, we'll need it to support a new government, but this job isn't about making me or any of you wealthy. Jeden is dead. He was our excuse, a way that we could do something good while still pretending that we were just thieves. Now that he's gone, you can give up if you want, quit. But that won't change anything. The struggle will go on. Men will still die. You'll just be ignoring it. It's time to stop the charade. If we're going to do this now, we have to be upfront and honest with ourselves. We have to admit that this isn't about money. It's about stopping that. I intend to continue my fight. I realize that some of you question my leadership. You think I've been building myself up too much with the scar. You whisper that I'm making myself into another Lord Ruler. You think my ego is more important to me than overthrowing the Empire. You're wrong. You have to trust me. You gave me your confidences when we began this plan. Despite how dangerous things seemed, I still need that confidence, no matter how things appear, no matter how terrible the odds. We have to keep fighting.
Dang. Such a powerful speech. I love how he interprets it.
This is our enemy. There is no quarter here, no walking away. Well, this is no simple job to be thrown aside when we encounter a few unexpected twists. Look at them. I know you question me. You think I've been too hard on the nobility, think that I relish killing them too much, but can you honestly see those men laughing and tell me that they don't deserve to die by my blade?
So this is a different interpretation. Yeah, I was going to say that.
Breeze, you asked about the atium?
One is the anger.
I'll be honest, it was never my main goal.
The other one is the despair.
Because I wanted to change things. We'll grab the atium, we'll need it to support a new government, but this job isn't about making me or any of you wealthy. Yet instead, he was our excuse, a way that we could do something good while still pretending to be just thieves. And now that he's gone, you can give up if you want, quit. But that won't change anything. The struggle will go on, men will still die. We'll just be ignoring it.
One looks like a tyrant, the other one looks like
the charade. If we're going to do this now, we have to be upfront and honest with ourselves. We have to admit that this isn't about money. It's about stopping that. I intend to continue my fight. I realize that some of you question my leadership. You think I've been building myself up too much with the scar. You whisper that I'm making myself into another Lord Ruler. You think my ego is more important to me than overthrowing the Empire. You're wrong. Now you have to trust me. You gave me your confidence when we began this plan, despite how dangerous things seemed. I still need that confidence, no matter how things appear, no matter how terrible the odds are. We have to keep fighting.
Which one would convince you more? The first one or the second one? Which one would give you more confidence? I think the first one.
What is it to be God, Waxillium? Would you have me intervene and stop the murders of innocents? Oh, I could do this. I have considered it.
What is the context for this one?
What then? Do I stop maimings as well? And where do I hold back, Waxillium? Do I prevent all wounds, or do I prevent only those caused by evil people? Do I stop a man from falling asleep so that he may not tip a candle and burn down his house? Do I stop all harm that could ever befall a person? And once nobody is ever hurt, will people be satisfied? Will they not pray to me and ask for more? Will some people still curse and spit at the sound of my name because they are poor and another is rich? Should I mitigate this? Make everyone the same, Waxillium? I've already done as you suggest. You do not see it because the worst never reaches you.
Wow. Oh, wow. You don't see it because you're very alienated to the fact. Dang.
I ask you your lives and your courage. I ask you your faith and your honor, your strength and your compassion. For today, I lead you to die.
Today we dine in hell.
Welcome this event. I
300.
will not insult you by calling it well, or just, or even glorious. But I will say this. Each moment you fight is a gift to those in this cavern. Each second we fight is a second longer than thousands of people can draw breath. Each stroke of the sword, each colossus felled, each breath earned is a victory. It is a person protected for a moment longer, a life extended, an enemy frustrated. In the end, they will kill us.
This is the perspective from the enemy.
First, they shall fear us.
This is very good writing, I'll tell you that. And the voice actor here, he's doing a fantastic job too. He's got that
failed you.
passion eyes.
I've planned these caverns knowing a calamity is coming, hoping that I might find some secret that might be of use should I fall to the thing scheming.
Is this a Scottish accent?
Yeah. I have nothing. I do not know how to defeat it. The only thing I can think of is to keep it at bay by taking the power of the well for myself when it returns. However, if you're reading this, I have failed. That means I am dead. As I write this, I find that prospect to be less tragic than I might previously have assumed. I would rather not deal with the thing. It has been my constant companion, the voice that whispers to me, always telling me to destroy, begging me to give it freedom. I fear that it has corrupted my thoughts. It cannot sense what I think, but it can speak inside of my head. 800 years of this has made it difficult for me to trust my own mind.
800 years.
Well, sometimes I hear the voices and simply assume that I am mad. That would certainly be preferable. I do know that these words must be written in steel to be preserved. I've written them in a steel sheet, then ordered them scribed into a plate, knowing that in doing so, I reveal my weakness to my own priests. The thing has whispered to me that I'm a fool to expose myself by writing this and letting others see it. That is primarily why I decided to go through with the creation of this blade. Doing so seemed to make the thing angry. Well, that is reason enough, I think. It is good that some few of my loyal priests know of my weakness, if only for the good of the Empire, should I somehow fall. I have tried to be a good ruler. At first, I was too young, too angry. I made mistakes. Yet, I have tried so hard. I nearly destroyed the world with my arrogance, and yet I fear I've nearly destroyed it again through my rule.
Most of
I
these
can do better. I will do better.
Most of these monologues, they feel remorseful. They feel like someone is very remorseful of their actions.
I can do better. I will do better. I will create a land of order. The thoughts in my mind, however, make me wonder just how much of what I do has been twisted from my original intentions. At times, my empire seems like a place of peace and justice. Yet, if that is so, why can I not stop the rebellions? They cannot defeat me, and I must order them slaughtered each time they rise up. Can I not see the perfection of my system? Regardless, this is not the place for a justification. I need no justification, for I am, after a form, God. Yet,
He thinks he is a god
I know
king.
there is something greater than I. If I can be destroyed, It will be the cause of that destruction. I have no advice to give. It is more powerful than I am. It is more powerful than this world.
Is this a
It
man who
claims
thinks
to have
he's a
created
god?
this world, in fact.
Or is it a god?
It will destroy us all eventually.
I need a little bit more
Perhaps
context.
these stories will let mankind survive a little longer. Perhaps not. I am dead. I doubt that I should care. Still, I do. For you are my people. I am the hero of ages. That is what it must mean. Hero of ages. A hero that lives through the ages as I do. Know that the thing's power is not complete. Fortunately,
Ah, I
I have hidden
see.
his body well.
I have hidden his body well. Dang. That was really impressive. Not only the voice acting, but the scriptures here, the writing, the intensity. You could literally, like, I can imagine reading it and picturing the king and listening to a voice which would sound similar to his. It is really an interesting piece of art here. Thank you so much, Travis, for sharing this with me. I'm not familiar with these type of videos. As I said in the beginning of the video, it's something that I really wanted to do, like in the past, but not this type of intensity. It was more like reading storybooks. I like voice acting and I like reading, but this is something else. This is another set of skills. He's literally acting, and at the same time, well, it's voice acting. It's absolutely amazing. The Dog and the Dragon is still my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite so far as well. Dang, The Dog and the Dragon. It is food for thought. Sometimes we are in, I could actually add that this feels like, I don't know when this was written, the book, when is it from, but it feels like it's set in medieval times, but at the same time it feels so relevant to today, because that story of the dog and the dragon, it feels so much like what we go through with Instagram today. Sometimes you see some influencer, or it doesn't even need to be an influencer. Sometimes it's your neighbor, even on Instagram, and they seem to be living their best life. And sometimes you feel like, hey, I want it to be like them. I want to be more like them. I want to do what they're doing. And most of the time, they're not doing what they're doing. Most of the time, it's fake. And sometimes we feel like we're not going anywhere. Time is flying by, time is passing, we're losing our opportunity. And that FOMO, that fear of missing out, it consumes us. And we're sometimes just thinking, if only I was a dragon. And people sometimes are laughing at us saying, hey, just be a dog. But it's up to us to find that middle ground. We can aspire to be the dragon, but we should not forget the little things in life that make a difference. Because at the end of the story, there, that dog saved that kid, used every single lesson that it had learned, every single skill that it had acquired, and used it for something that was a life saving event. It saved the baby's life. It got the awards, but it couldn't realize that it overcame, and it was in a better position than the dogs that were laughing at it. It was in a comfortable house, away from the rain, in the warmth, and had acquired a new family that really appreciated it for saving one of their own. But it still just wanted to be a dragon. So, ignoring all the other facts, still wanted to be a dragon, not happy with the achievements, which I think it's much better. I think it's much better to, rather than be a dragon, just being a loving dog. But anyways, that metaphor is something that is food for thought. Sometimes you're already happy. Sometimes you already have your family. Sometimes you already have your cozy life, but you're still stuck in the past thinking, what if? And then sometimes I've seen so many people turn down a beautiful family in search of a career that won't even make them happy. It is what it is, right? But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Go watch The Devil Wears Prada. I'm kidding. But I'll see you on the next video. Thank you, Travis. If you want to request a video like Travis did, go over to Buy Me Coffee. The link is in the pinned comments. And I love how philosophical this is. See you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.